Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of the Rink Moose Hockey Podcast, a bi-weekly episodic podcast where two, sometimes three, sometimes four good friends gather around this table and discuss all things NHL and their implications in the fantasy hockey universe. I am one of your hosts, as always, Nick Costu, along with my good pal, Kyle Nice. Kyle, how are you doing on this Thursday evening?
Oh, not too bad, Nick, but I got to start the show on a negative note here. I really do, because you mentioned the third and sometimes fourth members of the show, and I got to call them out. This is my civic responsibility to call out my friends, Joe and Mike, for missing one of the best hockey experiences that I've been a part of.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, we teased everyone at the end of last show saying we're gonna talk about our experiences. I had a Leaf game I was gonna go to shortly, thereafter to see the Avs play on a Wednesday night, and you were gonna go on that Saturday to see them in Ottawa. So, yeah. I mean, you brought it up first. So, I mean, let me ask you. I've been there we were there for the afternoon game, the Ranger game. Mm-hmm. We were going into this one saying, well, how's it going to differ? The night game, how's that experience going to differ? You, of course, didn't have the same company. You maybe didn't get into the tailgating as much as you wanted to.
Right.
But I mean, I want to hear it. All in all, what was this experience like? What was the fanfare like? Was it different? Was it better? Was it worse?
Right.
And of course, the game, because hell of a game. What, 6-5?
Yes.
If I have that right.
Yes.
So please indulge the audience here.
So yeah, how I want to stack it up is like this. Can you imagine having a great experience after considering the 8-hour drive, considering Makar didn't play, considering there was no tailgate, considering you had to drive in a snowstorm, considering all these negative factors, considering your buddies left you in the lurch? Can you imagine how good the game must have been to come away with an amazing experience?
True.
With all
it
those
had to be
factors?
amazing. Lots of hype. Like
so much.
Lots of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Like
to be an amazing game.
Exactly. When I didn't see Makar on the bench, my heart sunk, and I thought,
this is going to be the worst night ever.
This is a
because he did do warm ups.
He did warm up. I saw him in warm up. I said, Dell, that's the best defenseman in the world. And she's like, yay.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't there. So I was so, it killed me for the first 5 minutes, but it got better. I'll get into that after. Obviously the drive is a harrowing drive. It was like 4 hours and 20 minutes. The drive sucks. Mm-hmm. We roll in, no time for a tailgate. We roll in at 6. So I'm amped up to get to the warm up immediately. Same situation as last time. We walked right into prime time zone for warm up, and we saw everyone do their thing, and that was awesome. That's honestly always one of my favorite parts of the game. And then we get to our seats, very different seats from what we experienced. Mm-hmm. And I can compare it to the Toronto seats, and I can compare them to the old Ottawa seats. But we're like kind of mid-bowl, kind of center ice, like really low in the 200 level. So it's like that first upper stack. And honestly, I think it's the ideal place to watch a hockey game. Like, we had really cool views of a lot of things at third row or wherever we were, but we couldn't see the far end of the ice. Let's be honest.
No.
When we were in our end, it was great. Honestly, it was going so fast sometimes I could barely follow the play. But this was like I'm watching a game almost at TV level, and the people I have around me are generally, I don't know how, but they're more like fans.
Yep.
Like the people in the third row,
100%.
who was around us, you know? You couldn't even say. Behind me, right in my right ear, you know how there's always that talking head at a game where they're always chirping every little play? They're always like shooting their mouth off about something.
Yeah.
I had two of those guys behind me, and one happened to be a Colorado fan, and one was an Ottawa fan.
Amazing.
So I had the banter right behind me the entire game. And then I had a group of honestly insane French people. I think they were away on some sort of corporate outing because they're all like middle-aged and they all spoke French. And Buddy over here was taking his shirt off every time the camera was coming around. So every single time he'd stand up and he'd get the belly out. He's shaking all over the place. And I'm like, Del, look. And Del's shaking her head like, what is going on at these hockey games? And my section was amazing. It was just an awesome section. So we end up We sit down. We end up start the game. First period was a good period, but it wasn't that fiery.
Yeah.
But second and third were unbelievable. We had a goal called on, which was the Stützle goal, which was a ridiculous goal. He got tripped and fell into the goalie. The puck somehow slid through. I'm like, that's a shit goal. That's not a goal.
Yeah.
But they scored, and the place was going nuts and all this stuff. I guaranteed my friend who I was trying to get to come with us that we'd see a Brady versus Landeskog fight. I was like, you come, and you're going to get a Brady Landeskog captain on captain duel.
Yeah.
And it was this close to happening. They were like pushing, shoving. They were jawing. It was crazy. And then we had Ottawa step forward. We had another Timmy Stützle beautiful power play goal with the curl and drag in the shot. And I was losing it because at this point,
that was a great goal.
I'm like, I want to see good hockey and I want to see overtime. That's my motivation. So that happened. And then it's like looking bad for Colorado.
5-2 at some point, right? 5-2 Ottawa.
It was looking terrible for Colorado. McKinnon was fighting it. I did note, like, he had explosive moments, but it felt like he just lacked a little bit of that power. But then we had the Alex Newhook fucking coast to coast beauty, and that was insane.
Out of your seat, eh?
To get to see that live, like, happen, and just the speed of it all. I was like, because we were dead in the water. Colorado was dead in the water, and Newhook pulls this massive play, and I was like out of my seat at that point. I was yelling. There was a guy in front of me in a Makar jersey. We gave a high five. Turned around to the guy behind me. We high fived, and then it's game on. And Colorado's fighting back. They're getting back into it. There was a shot from the point that went in, and then there was a disallowed goal. There was a disallowed goal. And it came right. They were there for 5 minutes reviewing it, so it's like, oh man. And I thought it was going to be a good goal for sure. They called that off, and Colorado ends up tying it anyways, which was outstanding. And we were going nuts at that point, me and the Colorado guys. And overtime didn't last long, but we had a little McKinnon rush that didn't go well, and it led to the captain. Brady Tkachuk getting that breakaway and that snipe, and the place went just bonkers.
Really,
just amazing energy. The building itself was probably maybe not the fullest, but you felt the energy for sure because it was such a great game. And Brady, let me tell you, Brady is such an enviable character. Like, if the Brady versus McKinnon fight, Brady was amazing. Like, every time he got the puck, I nudged Dell and say, look at how good this guy is in the corners. Like, he dominates the corners. He had the snipe. He had a beautiful goal too. He had a goal that was actually similar to the Stützle goal, like a curl and drag snipe. And he was just like mucking people up, and he was good, man. Like, he really, really impressed me. And that was, the goalies were terrible, both of them. So that was good.
I spot started the Colorado goalie.
Oh, that's bad.
And he did not do too well for me.
We saw Justus Annunen come in.
Yeah,
all goalies
Justus
were shit.
Annunen, like, fuck.
And I was thrilled because I was like, I told her, like, this is going to be a barn burner. It was last time, and it's going to be this time. So the game happened. We got out of there pretty quick, and then we had to battle a snowstorm on the way home. And I didn't even have coffee. I just drove it right through.
Got it over with.
Yeah. It was a crazy, like I said to you guys personally, it was my best actual in the building live hockey experience, live sporting experience. Yes, I've had some more experience at, like, Leaf Square. Those have been amazing times, but in the building, this was the best experience.
Really, better than Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh game.
See, that's hard because it was so long ago. I barely remember it. All I know is I was close up and Crosby got a hat trick. But I don't remember it that well. And most of his goals, again, this was a third row experience, so I couldn't see most of his goals, you know. There's something to be said for that.
So, like, you would recommend 200 level mid ice where you sat any day of the week? That's the place to be.
I think it's better than third row.
Wow.
Now, if you were to tell me, like, mid-bowl 100 level, maybe that's better because it's a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But I was loving the spot.
What row were you guys?
We were like 200 level, 3 rows up.
3 rows up.
Yeah.
Mid ice.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It is a good spot.
Yeah.
And again, you get with what I call more real fans.
And the big impressive people were on Ottawa, Stützle and Tkachuk, and then on Colorado, Newhook.
Newhook was really, really impressive. There was no Kadri. There was no McKinnon had a so-so. McKinnon had 3 assists, but I didn't think he had a good game. Landeskog had a pretty good game, but no one else on Colorado really jumped out at me except for Newhook.
Okay.
Even Girard had a so-so game. Like they didn't actually have a great game. If I'm being honest, it was just a very dramatic game because they floundered a lot of stuff. But it was cool. High event hockey. Very good. Very, very, very good experience. No, I'm so thankful I went because I was on the fence about going.
I'm sad I missed it.
Yeah. I hope the Christmas party was amazing. I hope it was your best Christmas party you've ever experienced live.
It was good. It was a good meal. Good folks. Gave a nice speech.
You did.
I had to give a speech
at this work party.
Yeah,
because you're new.
Yep. Tradition.
Okay,
Tradition dictates the new people have to give a speech. So
yeah,
it was a good night. Good after party. But yeah, the game seemed great, and I'm happy you had a good one given the ride.
Oh,
because for me to get to the ACC, it's like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah.
For you to drive there, it's what 5.5 there, 5.5 back, more or less.
4.5, but it was like 5 on the way back because of the weather.
There you have it.
Nasty.
But yeah, I mean, with that, I'll segue to my story. Wednesday night, it was the 2 nights before your game. Toronto hosting Colorado. Haven't been to the ACC in years, 5-6 years probably.
Wow.
Birthday present. I go. First off, like, I am very impressed with the Air Canada Centre. Like, they have stepped it up. Say what you want about the price of the tickets and how it's hard to get, to get a seat there, but no lack of places to get drinks. Plenty of bars, amazing food. I had this gourmet mac and cheese, incredible. Everyone's got to go 100 level. You go to this mac and cheese place. I forget the name. Fantastic mac and cheese. The area where these seats were, that bar next door. Yeah. Great bar. They got the barbecue place. I had some riblets there. I was indulging all night. Mac and cheese, riblets.
Because it was free, right?
No,
not the food, the tickets.
Yeah, tickets were free.
So you might as well.
Yeah. So that was nice. So honestly, facilities, can't complain. Went for warm-ups, made it, didn't get thrown out.
Good.
Very impressed by everybody. McKinnon really impressed me. The hands were on display full throttle. Love watching his routine. Was he doing the same hands thing? Yeah. So I feel like that's a ritual thing. Makar, a little more. He doesn't show off too much in the warm-ups. You could tell.
Smooth, though.
Character. Rantanen.
Oh.
We had a kid next door.
Right.
Rantanen tried 3 times just to get this puck to the kid. When he finally got it to the kid, he gave him a thumbs up. Rantanen wins character. I love Rantanen now.
Good.
Soft spot for him now. I just watched Colorado all the whole warm up, not Toronto. It was fun. And then the game. I mean, it was a blowout. Very different than your game. 8. What is it? 8-3, I think.
Something
was the final.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, I guess this is the part where I'll start the video because I got a hot take coming here.
Ooh. Guess you chose that jersey for a reason.
You can put this on the record here. Joe's going to want to hear this.
Fuck you, Joe.
I am officially a Leaf fan again. And I'm going to get a lot of hate. I'm going to get a lot of hate saying, you're just jumping back when we're flying and we're winning games.
10 games in a row.
Yeah, and that's what your plan is here. Not at all, folks. I think in order to buy back into this fan base, I needed a transformative experience.
Okay.
You can't just snap your finger and I'm back. I actively rooted against this team last playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't hide that.
We both did.
And it was great. That said, this going to a game, I think changed everything.
Okay.
Goes to back to what you said. You sit in the 300 level. You're with the people. You're with Leaf Nation. You're not with the suits down in the rows, eating sushi and caviar. You are eating mac and cheese with the locals, and everyone's talking. Everyone is jabbering about this team, the optimism, and just watching them, I was like, these guys are legit. You see Matthews and Marner and their chemistry. You can chirp those guys all you want off the ice, but you can't deny of duos in the league. There's no better duo than other than Draisaitl and McDavid. You can't. Chemistry-wise, these guys were dishing the puck amazingly that game. Okay? Another thing. The supporting cast they've signed over the offseason, Bunting is a hit. I love this guy. I read an Athletic article about him. His mom beat cancer. His whole story, 1 year in AAA, and he's already in majors. My hot take is he might be better than Zach Hyman. People were complaining about no. This guy's on pace to win Rookie of the Year potentially. And I think everyone was jabbering them about no Hyman. This guy might be better than Zach Hyman. Okay,
so that's a hot take.
Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
The defensive specialist I've always wanted on a team. He plays my kind of hockey. Doesn't care about the goals. Selfless plays. Mein Kampf. Andre Casa, a good friend of his apparently from the old days. Yeah. They have this instant chemistry. I truly believe that whole Thornton saga is a way of the past. Dubas, he found the guys you need to play those third, fourth line minutes. Those three guys have changed everything, frankly, in that whole bottom six thing. Spezza continues to be a star, a home star. I know. Say what you want about the suspension. We're not going to talk about that.
No.
But the guy continues to be a fan favorite, and just being there, 8 goals, cheering for them again, the crowd going nuts. I think I finally I think I just bought in. I think everything has changed for me. And they play my kind of game. Vezina, they got the Vezina Trophy winner on their team. He is the best. He is the goalie in the league who has the best character next to Elvis Merzlikins. How can you not like a team where the most important position on the team is basically like a angel of a character? We chirp that team's character a lot.
Yeah.
But when your goalie is as amazing as that man is, you have to like them. They play for him. He plays for them. They got a good thing going on. And we haven't been hearing many off-ice issues with Matthews and all that stuff. Perhaps they've grown up.
Got a good PR guy.
I'm giving them a bit of a pass there.
Okay.
So, all in all, personnel-wise, Sheldon Keefe and the way he's bought them to play like a process every game, consistency. We're so used to the Leafs playing 2 good games and then they fucking get lit up for 7 goals the next game. It's not happening anymore. They're consistently letting under 3 goals a game. Say what you want about the Winnipeg game, back-to-back, tough back-to-back. Winnipeg, all the stuff with Dubois, Matthews. You can get into that if you want. But I give them a pass. It is the most impressive Leaf team I've seen in my years of watching them. And they're finally playing Nick hockey. Responsible, defensive, systematic, work ethic. They got guys buying in, 3rd line, 4th line to 1st line. I'm sold. I can firmly believe this team is ready for the playoffs, and I'll ride that until they get eliminated in the first round potentially again. So that's where I'm at.
Oh boy. Well, I can't really challenge you on that because you've just stated a bunch of facts and your experience. But I disagree. I think it's a hot stretch in the regular season, and it's a long regular season at that. This isn't going to last. At the end of the day, this isn't going to last. And what can I say? The Winnipeg situation will always stick with me because I was ready. If that didn't happen, that little debacle, I would have sat here and said, you know what, Nick? What can I really say to you? But I can now point to that because that is still a major issue in my mind that has to change. Like I said to Joe, and he didn't have any good response. When the fuck have you seen a prominent player, 6'3", have just so little nuts in his bag, like this guy does? Every single star that has won the cup has had to muck it up every so often. Crosby's done it. Obviously, Ovechkin's done it. Stamkos has been through the ringer. it's not going to fly. Like, what do you think you're so like? Why is McDavid not getting through the first round either? He's not free from this either. As much as we hate what John Tortorella said, that's life, you know. This now applies. Like, you're gonna have to fucking stick up for yourself here and there. You know,
he could show more spine. Like, he could show more spine.
He got out of the scrum and he fucking backed into the boards. He had no even slight motivation to try to get back after.
I don't disagree.
Dubois just fucking daddied the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And what if that was a playoff series? That's happening every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game. And Matthews is going to get flustered like he did in Montreal.
He's far from my favorite player on the team. That said, like, that shouldn't like detract from like my Leaf fandom. If the character of Matthews is questionable.
But that's your lead guy. Like,
no,
he's the face of your franchise.
He is.
So
but
that's
like,
tough.
I don't know. I still have like, I think like I still like, I know Mitch Marner's injured, and you made that trade, Panarin for Marner, but I continue to be amazed. I think Mitch Marner is their most important player, and I think we might see that here at this injury spell. You know, when the team's rolling, when Marner's rolling, the team's rolling. He's the quarterback. He's elusive as hell. Watching him live, I don't know where he's going. The edge work, like, amazing. Like, I really believe he's the most important player on the team. John Tavares is back to vintage John Tavares. I think it's fair to say.
He was good when I saw him,
He's
too.
putting up plenty of shots, plenty of goals, character on display. Richard, you know, that's all he is.
He's Canada motivated,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, like, I'm not disappointed. Like, Nylander's having a career season, you know? I'm not disappointed by, like, anybody on this team but that Matthews moment, you know, which he can clean up. But, like, the defense is legit. Morgan Riley, again, he's having a great year. Had 4 assists last night, helping out my fantasy team. You know, they just get it. I think they get it more than any other year. I think you have to go through a lot of abuse in the playoffs. I think you have to have a Montreal series like that. Lots of people comparing it to Tampa and the sweep against Columbus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You need kind of a baptism by fire. And maybe that was it. You know? And I know we said that about Boston. We said, oh, they already lost to Boston. That was their baptism by fire.
Right.
But maybe sometimes if you're a young group, you need more than one.
They've had so many
They've had
baptisms.
a lot. They've had a lot.
So many
I know.
baptisms.
And that's why this is the year they got to make something happen.
You know what? Here's where I will say they lose in the first round. If they don't win the division,
yeah, it's tough.
Then they face Tampa or Florida, and to me, they don't beat either.
And
of those
we
teams.
were talking about this at the Christmas party. You know, I was talking to some smart lawyers about this, and they said, "Hey, I like the Leafs a lot. Jack Campbell's not allowing more than 3 goals a game. This is amazing, ever."
Right.
But you still got to play Tampa or Florida. That's what it looks like right now.
Right.
Can you beat them? Can you get that bugaboo off your back?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Right.
You know, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say they can beat Tampa.
No, I don't think so.
Boston looks different.
Yeah.
Boston doesn't have that Boston magic we're used to seeing.
There's some cracks in the armor there.
And Florida, as much as they're great, they don't have much playoff pedigree either.
Yeah.
So maybe they got a shot against Florida.
They have a shot against Florida.
But you can't get Tampa. You can't get Tampa.
I don't know. Like, to me, I would even be more scared of Florida at this moment. Just because Tampa lost their whole third line.
I know.
And I know the pedigree's there, but Florida took Tampa like horns on horns last year.
It was lost
amazing.
Goaltending. You know, goaltending really dropped the ball.
Yeah, and there's just no holes on that roster, not by a mile. Whereas Tampa is at least a noticeable peg down because they lost all those guys.
You don't think Florida reeks of like President's Trophy or bust? You don't think they reek a little of that? Because I think they might.
I don't know. And the problem is, here's the big problem, the glaring issue as I look at the standings. They're not gonna let Toronto win that division.
Yeah.
So we are looking at Toronto, Tampa on the rails.
Yeah.
Who's
below? Who's 4th place? Boston there?
4th place is Detroit.
But what's the point margin between Detroit and that group of 3?
So as the division lines up, let me just pull it up here. Florida, Toronto, Tampa, and then Detroit has 29 points. Boston has 26 points. Mm-hmm. But the gap between Tampa and Detroit is massive. So neither
That's what I'm
Boston nor
asking,
Detroit. So Florida, Toronto, Tampa, they've
Wow.
locked in. They've locked in.
It's a 7-point difference between Detroit and that Toronto Tampa group.
So it really is a race for these three
First.
teams. Yes.
You got to win first,
Yes.
and then you either get a Metro team or someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they'll keep it up. Like
Yeah. And just coincidence here, but they're playing Tampa right now and they're losing 4-2.
Yeah.
So that's just
On home ice. So there's a Jack Campbell game where he's allowing 4 goals.
there you go.
Um,
And is he an Olympic goalie, this Jack Campbell?
I think he has to be the third guy. The character, the Vezina stats.
Right.
He has to be 3, right? John Gibson, Connor Hellebuck, and Jack Campbell.
Yeah. So
It's a good 1, 2, 3.
this is a really weird time of year as well because we're seeing New York. We're seeing the Rangers
Are amazing
with a better points
17,
percentage.
4, and 3. The fuck did that happen?
The-
We saw them play in Ottawa.
I
They
have
didn't
no
look.
idea.
They didn't look that good.
They've looked bad all year.
Yeah.
But Shesterkin has
yeah.
been a literal
Really, eh?
god. That's your
That's
Vezina
the only
right
reason?
now. To me, that's the
analytically,
Vezina.
are their stats not even that good? It's just all Shesterkin.
They give up a lot of chances. So
Just
many.
Shesterkin.
And you watch the game, it's like this guy is keeping them alive.
Amazing.
But they have a better points percentage. They have the second best points percentage in the NHL behind Florida. Ahead of Washington, Carolina, Tampa, Toronto. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
They're playing a win. You know, we talked about this with Lafreniere, right? They're not playing to throw out the sexiest lineup or to cater to the rookie. They're playing a win. That's what Gallant's doing.
I know.
Amazing what a coaching change can do.
I can't believe it. But they still look and feel boring as fuck. Like when I watched them in Toronto, I'll be honest, and I really appreciate the tickets, but it was a dud of a game.
Dud.
Absolute dud of a game.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was a dud.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how the Rangers play. A lot of their games are duds, and then something magical will happen here and there. But yeah, no, that's fascinating, and that's why I don't like. That's the thing. You're Toronto. You have to slay your demon, but like the demon is just gonna be this 2-time Stanley Cup winner, which is not an ideal situation. It's not ideal.
No, they got to play someone
But
else.
then, well, it's funny, and again, this is where we wish we had Joe on the show, but say Toronto has this impressive season. You're a fan now. Maybe a lot of other people are like you and they're fans now. And then they lose again in the first round. What are we even talking about then? Then what?
It's the overhaul. We talked about this at the start of the year with Michael. Right?
But then a lot of guys are going to be, and Dubas is going to be like, well, we ran into Tampa. How can you blame us?
No.
Is that just dead? Is that just not going to be a thing?
No, that won't be an excuse.
It should have been it should have been
that won't
the
be an
case this year.
excuse.
But
They gotta suck it up. But like
Doesn't
I said,
matter
I've
who it
never
is.
had more faith in a Leaf team going into a year. Like last year, at least had the whole Canadian division excuse. Like Joe chirps those people who say, "Oh, they played in the Canadian division. That's why they had so many points." I think that's a totally valid thing to say. You were playing Ottawa for 3 straight games,
yeah,
and then you play Calgary and Edmonton. Like it was a
Vancouver.
joke. It was
Yeah.
a joke.
yeah.
They're having to play tough games now. They're having to go play Minnesota and then Winnipeg back to back. Like that's not an easy back to back. You know, this is proving to me this is actually a legit team. The Canadian division thing was a fucking joke. You know,
to a degree.
I don't
Montreal was legit.
know. Don't even get into.
They were
Montreal.
legit.
Don't even get into Montreal.
They were finalists.
They barely crept into the playoffs, if you remember. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're a playoff team.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's where I sit. I got way more respect for them now. They play my kind of game. I feel like Sheldon Keefe and I would get along real well. I've never seen a Leaf team like regularly like allow only like 20 shots a game. You know, for as long as we've known them, they've always been offense.
Yeah.
And now their defensive statistics are better than their offensive statistics. You know, I still think they're only like 22nd or 23rd in scoring. Isn't that crazy? The Leafs 23rd in scoring with all that talent.
What talent?
I'm kidding. I'm just saying. And then defensively, they're like 3rd in goals against. I'm just like, this is a Nick team.
It's good. All signs are looking good.
Yeah, 3rd in goals allowed, and they've stepped it up offensively. They're now 12th.
But I just use caution as it is the regular season, and we've seen all this similar to this before. But
okay, well, we'll leave it at that.
so I'll be alone in my little boat of hatred, just rowing on my own. I've lost my fucking row mate. Where's Richard?
Yeah,
I need his help.
no, he's a Leaf fan too. Okay, moving on to the actual news. 3 big teams we want to address here, both making big coaching, managerial moves in the last week or so. We'll start with the Vancouver Canucks.
Ooh.
I want to open this segment by saying, who the hell was that fucker who, when you were on that camping trip in August or whatever, went off about how optimistic he was about the Canucks, and he made you buy in, and you came back from that camping trip a changed man. I don't know if you were too deep into the sauce that night. Maybe you were just nodding away because of how fucking tossed you were. But you got some explaining to do.
It was the scenery.
Because you bought into this team because of this fucker. I don't know who he was. And where did he go wrong?
It was the scenery, man. Like, it was so nice. We were all positive. Such a good little trip. I don't know. Well, I'm going to maintain this. And the experts maintain this as well. At the beginning of the season, you look at the roster. It's not a bad roster. I look at the roster right now, and I'm kind of wondering, I'm scratching my head going, what's going on? Like, on paper, this is not a disaster, as we're seeing on the ice. There's a lot of factors out there. There's a lot of external stuff, the coaching, the management, the ownership, like we're hearing a lot, that is just plaguing this team. And who would have considered Pettersson having a fucking dog shit year? Who would have considered that, Quinn Hughes can't play defense? I could see that from a mile away, but Garland's been good. Ekman Larson has been so kind of average, but I like on paper the roster shouldn't be like this. So that's kind of where I was misled, and people have underperformed. Brock Besser's only had like 6 goals.
Yeah, no, and I said it. I mean, you can't build a team with Quinn Hughes and Pettersson as your stars. That team will never hoist a cup. One's too defensively irresponsible, and the other is too streaky, and we've seen some character issues. I know on Overdrive they were chirping his back checking in that Columbus game.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip?
I didn't.
Embarrassing.
Really?
You got to watch that highlight.
This is recent?
Embarrassing. 10 days ago or so.
Oh, boy.
Road game in Columbus, empty net. He glides chasing after the guy ahead of him. He literally gives up. He stops playing hockey.
Yeah, and this shocks me. He shocks me the most because he was such a sure thing 2 years ago. Like, this was a talent to be a 100-point guy. He had all the potential in the world, and he seemed like a good kid, right? The alien. It's very confusing. It's and it doesn't help that it's right after he got that big contract or the short bridge contract. It doesn't help that he cashed in and now he sucks. Like, I think he made some comments on the off season about I just want to win. Like, I don't care where I play. I just want to win. So that's probably rubbing people the wrong way too.
Right.
And it's killing my fantasy team. Let's be honest. Him and Barzal went back to back for me, and they're fucking sinking me.
Awful.
God, that whole 4th round for me was a fucking sham. Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, this all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the leadership crisis?
Yeah. So apparently,
that's bad too.
The actual captain who has the C, people are kind of losing trust in him because he was supporting Benning and the coach all too much.
Yeah.
Whereas the real leader who should wear the C is JT Miller, right? That's what they're saying. Because he's actually speaking out. He's actually speaking the minds of the team, whereas Horvat's all bureaucratic. Like, we got to trust the coaching stuff.
Yeah. But whether we should say JT Miller should wear the C I think that's a whole different debate. I don't think he should. I think he's just the most outspoken.
But the room likes him.
Well,
apparently that's what I heard.
I think he commands a lot of respect because he's been really good this year. Like, he's actually the only one performing to the level that people expect.
But he also speaks what the players want to speak. Quinn Hughes isn't going to go out and have a rant.
He's probably that friend who makes the awkward comment, like everyone's thinking, like the elephant in the room. He's just going to say it,
Or at practice, he had that quote where he called it like fucking embarrassing, like the drill they were doing.
Right. Right.
Like, I like that.
So that is that is definitely leadership, but I don't know. It's hard from a Bo Horvat perspective to go against, because he is kind of the coach's right-hand man. He has to be that. It's hard for him to go against that and just totally undermine the guy.
Well,
and I know he's a good leader. Like, he is a good leader.
Yeah.
Horvat is a good leader.
Yeah.
But he's been shit too.
He's been shit. Dropped him 3 weeks ago.
Unbelievable team. Unbelievable team.
But regardless, I think it's all for the best because they end up hiring our favorite coach.
Thank God.
He's back after a 2-year absence. The red-faced tomato is back.
Hey, Mr. Tomato.
He took a break from COVID, you know?
Yeah.
And
he didn't go easy on himself.
No, not at all. You saw him wearing that tracksuit, skating around in that big blue tracksuit. Yeah.
He could barely skate. He looked like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Learning to skate.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
I love
embarrassing.
him. But
How
we
do you
love
command
him.
respect
But
like
we
that?
love him for that.
We do. He's
do.
already dropping F-bombs on the
Yep.
press conferences. I can't wait for things to blow up for this guy.
The fan base loves him. What are they chanting after every game? Bruce, there he goes, or Bruce, there it is, something like that.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're a team to watch again.
They won 2 straight.
Ooh.
Beat Boston yesterday in a shootout, 2-1. They shut out their first game 4-0. You can't deny he is every regular season he's gonna give you a good record. You know.
Well, that's what you say. We'll see. I think he's got talent to work with here.
Yeah.
So,
but they might be in too much of a pit.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I think they may have waited too long. Management, ownership may have waited too long to make this move, which I think everyone will agree.
Sure.
Like, Benning got way too much leash.
Yeah.
This should have happened like 3 weeks ago. This was already on the wall 3 weeks ago. I don't know why it took so long.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
It's not like Boudreau was like employed. They were waiting for him to get fired.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
maybe
now
they were considering other options. I don't know.
And now they got Rutherford.
Right.
You're a Jim Rutherford fan, right?
Yeah. In the past, he kind of lost his fucking mind late in his career in Pittsburgh. But see, he's a president role. He's not going to be the GM, which I think is key. He's going to be the guy to keep the Aquilinis at bay and let the GM do the work. Like they needed that middleman, from what I can hear. And
who's the GM then?
I think that hasn't been filled yet.
Or a committee? It's a committee.
As of now, yeah. So JR is probably going to fill those duties to a degree for now.
I heard it's a bit of a committee approach.
Right.
One guy of which, who they've elevated to a high position. This is some insider knowledge I have here. He was part of their legal department. He did more of the contracts.
Wow.
And they've elevated him to like GM now.
Wow.
I think his name's like Chris Keir or something like Chris Gear or something like that. Queen's Law alumni.
Get real.
Yes.
Wow.
So
that is insider knowledge.
I am really rooting for this guy in this team now. I am now a Canucks fan for this reason. And I hope maybe he gets in front of the microphone and we could hear him talk. He can be a face.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. So
it would.
I'm rooting for this team. They have my favorite coach, like one of my favorite coaches.
Yeah.
They have this Queen's Law guy behind the scenes. Good personnel. You know, like say what you want. I maintain that those two guys will never win you a cup, but like, you know, good character. You know, I like Connor Garland. He if you're watching the games, you'll like this. He's getting more ice time. He's getting more power play time.
Right.
They've done some maneuvering on the top line. He's now on the top power play with Hughes and Pettersson. So you got Pettersson on a half wall, Hughes at the top, him at the other half wall. So a bit of an elevated rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Boudreau just gets it better than that Travis Green fella.
Yeah. He was. He had his name marked on the old hit streak there, but yeah, we'll see. I'm
rooting for them. I think the point differential is too much.
Yeah.
In that conference.
But then here's the problem. They're sort of a middle ground team because they're not going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of want the draft pick. And it's like, if you can't win with this core, then, you know, what's going to happen?
I agree. I think long term they're doomed. But as far as this year,
Yeah.
like I don't like their trajectory. Like like a Canucks fan, I'd hate to tell you that, but it's true.
It's not like Hoglander's going to bring in.
But I'm not writing them off this year. There's a lot of games. I'm saying it's tough, but there's a lot of games. There's teams above them that I think are doomed to fall. Like
Yeah.
Anaheim's not keeping this up.
They
And
might.
we'll get into
They
them
might.
later. I don't
They
think
might.
they're keeping this up. Nashville, I don't think can keep it up. San Jose can't keep it up. You know, I think, and again, there's some teams on the outside who are like gaining traction. Winnipeg, Dallas, but yeah, I don't know. It might be too tough for them. There's really good teams there, but
Yeah.
I think they'll give it a good run.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Another. Well. Yeah. They fucking better keep their first rounder this year.
Mm-hmm. No, and like I said, any team that Boudreau's the coach of, it's like instantaneous relevance. Like I am paying attention to your team. So there you have it. Other big news, huge news. The end of an era in Montreal.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, we should have probably opened with this. It's probably the most important news. It's just dated at this point, so we can't open with it.
Right.
But it truly is the end of an era for all your fandom of watching Montreal. This guy's been the figurehead
Pretty much.
of that organization.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So many like sagas when you look back at like his tenure there, you know?
Yeah.
The drama like of like drafting Galchenyuk.
Yeah.
Is he a center? Is he a winger? That whole thing, and like we were in second year, third year, that whole saga was going on.
The price contract. Subban trade.
Drouin, the huge move with Tampa. And then lately, you know, the drafting of the Logan Milieu, Kotkaniemi.
Oh God. So there's been a lot of. That's what makes him such a great GM.
Yeah,
it's such an exciting, eventful career that he's had in Montreal, and there's so many points. He's made some brilliant moves, but also some head scratchers, and he's made big decisions like the price contract, which was like a sort of it was an unprecedented issue that fell into his lap. Yeah. That, you know, what was he really supposed to do? Like, can you now look back and say that was a mistake? I don't think you can. Has he not lived up to that money in so many situations? And like, what could you have done? Nothing. The price contract defines his era with the team because it forced him to create a build from the back out mentality. That's what made him get rid of Subban and bring in a Weber. Stabilize the entire defense core. Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie. Stabilize, limit shots. Like, that's what this team has been characterized by, and that's why Joe doesn't like them very much, other than them being Montreal. They're not a high-flying, high-skilled team. They never have been, but they've always been that plucky underdog with a high motor, a high-character group who punches above their weight class, and Price can win them through games. This is the team that I fell in love with, and it's the team that I really just gravitated towards. And I'll be honest, the culmination of his tenure, all of his moves packed into one, was realized last playoff run. You know, you've got the Nick Suzuki element, you've got the Cole Caulfield draft element, you've got Price, you've got Weber playing on his last leg, you've got, you know, things like the Gallagher contract a few years ago and how emotional that got. You got so many things, and it kind of wraps up in that, you know, when they won the Vegas series, and there was that moment where Bergevin's running down and he gives Price the hug.
Amazing.
If you think back to that now that he's gone and so many of the team has disbanded, it's like it hurts and it's emotional, because it's like, this is what I built. I've been here for 8 years, 8, 9, 10 years. This is what I built, and we're going to the finals. This is our shot. Everything I've done is coming to fruition, and this is my bringing it back. Price contract. This is the guy I bet on, and he's got me there. I guess right. And if it would have worked for him, then he's looking like a bloody genius at this point, where everyone said price contract is a fucking disaster. Like I'll always say that run, I'll never that was one of my favorite moments and periods of time as a fan of anything. Like, I will still shed a tear if you show me this one video. Unbelievable GM in my mind. and just always kept it interesting for us. And you can go back on all his deals, all his trades. I think he won the majority of them. I would make the PK Subban trade again. I would perhaps not make the Duran trade again, but I would absolutely do the Pacioretty trade again, 100%. So, you know, it sucks to see him go, and I hope he finds another job very soon because I'll be a fan, you know.
Yeah. I like, as far as just entertainment value, few GMs come close to him. You know, he's in a class of his own.
Yeah.
You know? No other, I can't think of one.
And he's like funny, and he's got huge arms.
No, I don't think we wait a long time for him to be employed again.
No.
And whoever gets him, you're getting a treasure, you know?
Yeah.
That's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all the best to him. I liked his comments saying, like, I'm leaving the organization with my head high.
Right.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I do. And it's true. Like, he doesn't have to, like, honestly, that run built him so much reputation, reputability. He doesn't have to run or hide from anything. This is just the team ran into a timeline that ended with a lot of guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. And why would he stick? He's not going to stick around for what, a rebuild? No, he's done. That's over. You know. So.
Yeah. No. Curious to see where it'll go.
And Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
They don't have a GM, mind you. He's the president. They're looking for a GM.
McGuire potentially.
Yeah. I was looking around for that. I didn't hear a peep though on his name.
No, he's employed.
So
he got hired a few months too early.
But he'd leave.
He was the runner-up. He was the runner-up years ago. Yeah, I'm sure he would.
He's getting groomed right now in Ottawa.
Ooh. Groomed, yeah. Baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll see.
I'm emotional.
They got to speak French, right? Because
yes,
Gordon doesn't speak French.
Danny Briere.
Yeah.
But what has he done? You know?
No. Or Patrick Waugh.
That'd be so... I wouldn't be too pleased with that.
But you got to admit, like, that Gordon fellow, you like him.
I like him.
Yeah.
He did such a great job with York, Rangers, yeah.
So...
And he got canned
I like their plan.
for no reason.
I like their plan. Have two guys. One guy is more the expert personnel guy.
Yeah.
The other guy, make him just a PR French-Canadian fellow who people like.
Yeah. And hopefully Gordon's pulling the strings there.
Oh, yeah, I think he will.
I mean, I guess they're officially in the rebuild now. Like, there's no short season sample size to hide behind anymore. They're in the rebuild.
Yeah. No, they're in the thick of things now.
They are in second last place.
Final team to mention before we get into some shotgun segments here. Philadelphia Flyers.
Right.
The last of the three bombs here to drop. They go out and fire Alain Vigneault. 2 years left on his contract. I think it's getting paid $5 million a year, so they're on the books for that. That's a shame.
Yeah.
But the Vigneault era is over in Philly. I mean, when you look back, what do you look back at it on? Like, I think they had that run during the bubble. I think that was their best run, right? You'd remember that because they beat Montreal.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Yeah.
They're a shit team. They are a shit team. Montreal, who bested Pittsburgh in a trap style kind of thing. Yeah. They ran into Philly, and Philly was so scared of Montreal's offense that Philly turned into the trap, shell, turtle kind of style. It was the deadest hockey I've ever seen, and they fucking ended up pulling some lucky wins and won. Montreal outplayed them left, right, and center. They were like the top seed, I think.
Interesting.
And they got, like, it was the most cowardly fucking team I've ever seen in my life, to be so scared of Gallagher and company. Like, what the fuck was that? And I remember Vigneault's had some stale comments in the media that rubbed me the wrong way. I forget what he said, but he caused a ruckus in the media.
Wow.
In an interview, and I'm like, this guy is a clown, an absolute clown. And don't you know it? Next year they were a fucking tire fire defensively. I know because I had Carter Hart on my fucking fantasy team, and this is so overdue. This is unbelievably overdue, this firing. I can't believe it took this long. He should have made it through half of last season and been gone. But they're another one of those teams. They're worse than Vancouver in the sense that they are so middle ground. They've got a mix of old guys. They've got a couple young guys that aren't very impressive. They're not like a playoff contender. They're a playoff contender, but not a cup contender by any stretch. Carter Hart, your big piece. What's he turned into? That's looking scary. Like, they're such a middle. They'll never be in the bottom 10 in the league, but they'll never be a contender in the next 5 years.
They're interesting, though, because if I don't, like, you know, when Ron Hextall got fired, lots of people were really trumpeting them as, like, the next great team. Like, remember all the prospects he drafted, like Morgan Frost, you know, Joel Farabee, like Carter Hart, like Nolan Patrick, like all these guys, and everyone was like, Philly's gonna be good. They're gonna, the way he's built them, he doesn't deserve to get fired, but they're gonna be good. Whoever's the GM stepping in there, he's gonna be lucky guy. Yeah. And we're here, and they're not there.
Right.
They're just middling. They're a floundering team.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
That's where I really can't answer. Like, we need a Philly guy to answer that, because we don't know that. I think not many people do, because, you know, I remember I was going to Ireland with Braden, and we were in the fucking plane ride over, and I was like, buddy, Philly's going to be a great team. Just like you said, this is 2018. I was like penciling in Couturier, Giroux, Nolan Patrick's going to be great. Like, and it didn't work. Nothing worked. Patrick didn't develop. Carter Hart hit a fucking road bump. Morgan Frost had a flash, and
Goss despair at some point. Now he's looking like he's going to be the next star.
How did he turn? He used to be a fantasy like top 3 round 60 pick.
Points.
Like, and now he's fucking floundering in Arizona. Like, it just, and Giroux, sure, I think he's having a decent year, but he's getting older.
Yep.
He's not aging very well.
And left. He left town.
And he was very unhappy when he was here too. And it's like, you got Couturier maybe as your only bright spot. Yeah. Because didn't he win the Selke last year? No.
But he's in the running
the running every year. But, like.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you one notable draft pick that they've made in the last 3 years. I just can't.
Yeah.
Farabee looks like a decent draft pick from whenever the fuck that happened. But, fuck, man. Like, they're in that no man's land that I just can't stand for teams. I can't stand that. They're nowhere close to a run, but they're not bottom 10.
No, and apparently, like, Vigneault's voice just got old with the room. Apparently, he just stopped talking to the players. Like, based on what I read, like, he was starting to delegate to his assistants. The assistants did all the talking, and he was just the guy in the background, like, thinking of the tactics and all that stuff. So, like, the players had no time for him. He had no time for the players. He was kind of bad cop. Mike Yeo was good cop. And now the good cop has come in. He's going to be staying on an interim basis as the head coach. Mike Yeo, of course, from St. Louis, who is trying to kind of redeem himself after really coming off as an asshole in St. Louis, where all the players lost faith in him. Berube replaces him, wins a cup. So that's not a good look.
No.
And now he's getting the first keys to the car to try to get this team out of it, which, frankly, I mean, it's not looking so good so far. They lost their first 2 games. They got shut out yesterday. I spot started Blackwood. He got a shutout for me against them. Not looking too good. Not looking like they're coming out of it anytime soon. And to your point, they're kind of just floundering. They need an identity here, either rebuild or something on the fly, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking rebuild. Like I don't know.
That's the big word, is identity.
They've never committed to a rebuild.
No, exactly.
They've always tried to do things on the fly. Yeah.
They're like Nashville in that sense.
Let's keep the core. We'll Couturier, Giroux, Voracek. They're not going anywhere. We'll draft these hot shots, you know, and then we'll try to get some youthful exuberance here to kind of get things moving. Yeah. You know, and they just can't do it.
Yeah.
I think the time is up. I think you get rid of that core. Giroux gone. You know, Couturier can stay, but you know, and just try to you got a full rebuild.
It's tough, but
they're not getting out of it.
I think that's probably what you need.
Or they're like Vancouver, you know, very similar.
Yeah, they're very similar to Vancouver. And they're going to be fighting for fucking who finishes worse in the standings.
Yeah. So I'd love to talk to a Philly fan. I'd love to be more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because I can speak for both of us. Like we're not boots on the ground. Like we don't understand them as we should. But just from the outside, they're fucking floundering, and they got to fix it.
Absolutely.
So hopefully this is the start of something. Okay. those are the three big teams. Moving on to some shotgun segments here. You're very interested in this World Junior Camp roster announced. Yes. We were kind of debating going into that. What's going to happen. Shane Wright wasn't even on that roster that Wheeler projected, but he's been invited to the camp. He seems to be a lock based on what we hear. He's at least going to be a reserve.
Yeah.
But they've announced the camp, and great looking camp roster, like great roster, right?
Sure,
we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Big omission. LA Kings prospect Brandt Clarke.
Ooh.
Thoughts on the omission?
My thought immediately is that, and I think I said this sometime before, you and I deserve a lot more credit than we fucking get. Because we watched him in limited sample size in the U18 tournament, and we had no reason to beef with this guy. LA's one of your favorite teams. And a Canadian defenseman who's highly touted. Why would we have a reason to beef this guy? But he stood out to us in all the wrong ways. Immaturity through the roof. Like, not only in his play, but in his victories, in post-game. He just looked like a fucking 14-year-old with just snot coming out of his nose and just looking like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, celebrating like just a little toddler. It was not a good look. We picked it up right away, and we thought, this guy doesn't impress us at all. He's got some maturity issues, and he's just, like, in over his head. He's in over his head on so many fronts. Like, I think this guy is so far away from being a professional. And what Canada, this isn't public knowledge, but I'm telling you, what Canada saw in this guy is a guy who's exactly that, an immature kid who's not ready for this kind of role. And we don't want this kind of wishy-washy mentality. Like, oh, boys, let's just fucking, like, we don't want this on our camp. And I was very shocked when it happened, when that news dropped, but was I all that surprised? No. I'm surprised they pulled the trigger, but I'm not at all surprised as to why. So it's shocking, and I feel bad for you because
well, it's a lack of growth, right? It's a lack of, like, a good experience for a prospect of the LA Kings.
it's a black eye.
Yeah.
It's a horrible
But
black
I can't
eye.
say I didn't, it's to your point, I can't say I didn't foresee it. And hey, that's a good defense they got.
It's a great defense, yeah.
When the number 1 overall pick of last year's draft and Caden Gooley is your 1-2 punch, it's a good punch.
Yeah. Oh, you're laughing all the way.
Zellweger on defense. I like him.
Yeah.
He should be there.
Lambos is good.
Yep,
sure.
Lambos is good. Who's that French Canadian? Is it Cormier or?
Cormier? Yeah, he's very good.
Yep,
he's like a little
good.
Sammy Girard.
So I think they're in good shape. I don't think they'll miss him. Brandt
No.
Clarke, 23 points in 18 games, 5 goals, 18 assists. But apparently, I was reading this on The Athletic. Barry Colts' performance this year is a big reason why he's not on the team. People were expecting the Colts to be a fantastic team this year. They were among, like, the runnings to win the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
And no, like, apparently very disappointing season, and him being one of the leaders on that team has resulted in them kind of not thinking that fondly of him.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's that's where Barry Colts. I'm just pulling up the standings right now. Yeah, kind of middling. 11 wins, 7 losses.
Wow.
2 overtime losses. So, like, just above a 500 team.
Yeah.
Expected to be way better than that.
Right.
So,
right. I think, what was it? Wheeler had them as a contender.
Yep. He said it was going to be Kingston and them in the final.
Wow.
That was his projection. And the Colts, Kingston's doing okay, but the Colts not so good. So,
yeah, and maybe it comes down to, like, Canada looked at the defense. They're going, you know what? Our offensive guys are going to be Power, Gooley, Lambos, and we don't like Brandt Clarke as a defensive guy. You don't fit in the offensive category, then you're not going to be our defensive guy. So it's not going to work out.
Yeah. So, big omission, but you're saying the rest of the team's in good shape?
Oh, my God. Like, I can't believe how many people, including myself, was wrong about Owen Power. This guy. Do you know the numbers he's putting up? Like, he's putting up unbelievable numbers from a guy everyone said the offensive potential is quite low. Like, people were saying this is not a surefire number 1 pick. He went the route of the dodo in going back to college after being first overall. That never happens. But he's fucking torching. He's torching the league. He's got way more points than he had last year already. And it's like what you saw from that world championship. You know how everyone's like, yeah, he was great in the world championships against men. But that's such a small sample size. Well, it turns out that's the real guy. So imagine that guy who played well in the world championships. He's coming back to juniors. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
He's a tower of fucking power. He's 6'5", 214 pounds. Offensive, like crazy. You know, Luke Hughes is on his team as well. Owen Power's the number one offensive guy on that Michigan team.
Wow.
Luke Hughes, right? The better Hughes brother. You know, that says a lot. And obviously he's munching minutes as well. So what a duo, Gooley and Power. Unbelievable. Good luck.
And they're gonna have Mason McTavish.
McTavish, yeah. Perfetti's someone to watch. He's got some proving to do. You can bet he's gonna have a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
And then Ridley Gregg is going to be another lock who we have a soft spot for. That'll be fun.
And that goalie Kosa, he should be the starter, right?
Yes.
And I've heard so much about him, but I've never really seen him.
Yeah, neither have I really. But
this will be a nice test.
Yeah, so he's going to be the number one guy for sure. But I also know Dylan Garand is a very capable backup.
Which is great. We've never had a camp going in where you know who the number one is.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Long time. So that's going to be great.
We've got Kent Johnson on this team as well, who's had a great year in college as well. And Hendrix Lapierre should make the team, hopefully, right? Because he had some NHL experience and exposure. I guess Byfield is a no-go. It's a long shot.
They released an article about him recently. I haven't read it, but his return is impending. I think the issue is it's just going to be they're not going to line up. He's not going to have enough reps beforehand, and he won't be playing. That's what I'm hearing. I think that's what Friedman said on the latest 31 Thoughts.
Right.
32 Thoughts.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be a rare year where it's gonna be like more excited about the goalies and the D than past years, which has always been forward heavy. So
yeah, very excited.
Very excited. Defensive team. Let's see it happen. Let's see Shane Wright prove us wrong.
Yeah, biggest stage. If there's a time to do it, this is it.
This is your time to break out.
This is it.
Because people are starting to talk.
I mean,
they're adjusting projections.
Well, he's still going to go number one, but you can adjust your projections all you want. He's still going number one.
I don't know.
As of right now, 30 points in 22 games.
Which is all right. I mean, it's good. It's good numbers. Don't get me wrong. But is it first overall numbers?
Yeah.
That's where the problem lies.
Yeah. No.
It's good numbers. It's better than the beginning.
But again, I don't see him being a top 6 guy on the team. But it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for him to elevate. There might have to be some injuries for him to really seize a spot. You know?
I guess. But that's disappointing.
Yeah, a guy, the projected number 1 overall pick should always have a good World Junior. We saw Laff do it, Yeah. But
we saw McDavid's, Eichels, Matthews, they've all done it. Darlene did it.
I mean, where was the number 1 overall pick at this past year's draft last year?
Owen Power?
Yeah, where was he?
They didn't let him come.
There you go. So there's a guy who maybe didn't have a great.
But that was Michigan holding him back, saying, hey, we don't know if you're going to make the team.
Oh, that was, yeah. I do remember.
So that was a weird one-off situation.
Yeah, you're right.
But hey, Stutzel was amazing. Rossi was amazing.
Yeah, on a shitty team. He did his best he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, big proving ground.
He needs to prove himself here.
I agree. I just don't know if the situation will be conducive to it.
I just don't want him to be like the shutdown third line center.
I think that's what's going to happen. That's the problem. So we'll see. I know. Not what you want, but
I'm shaking. I'm just shaking.
Moving on, another Team Canada topic. The jerseys.
Oh.
For the most anticipated Olympics ever have been revealed.
Yeah.
You're a big jersey guy. You are a big Team Canada jersey guy.
Yeah.
I really don't care about my opinion on this topic.
Okay.
But I truly do care about yours because you're very opinionated about jerseys. What do you think of these? Because apparently it's more negative than positive out there on social media.
Yeah. You know what? I really don't mind these jerseys. Like, I don't. Someone said that fucking turkey thing,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can't stop seeing it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I heard about this.
I like the jerseys, except now all I'm thinking about is the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucks. But the black ones are sharp as hell. Like the red ones,
Why?
I think are sharp.
Why is there no bottom stripe on the black ones?
Well,
That bothers me.
I think
it's
it's
too plain.
it looks clean.
I know.
It looks
but
really
it looks
clean.
too plain.
I think that's the best looking jersey of the three. The black looks.
But
fucking
see, that's getting
sharp.
the most shit on social
Really?
media. Yeah. On Dangle, they were really chirping the black.
The black looks good, man.
I'm getting a lot of love for the white. I feel like that's been getting the most love online, and the black has kind of been middling.
See, that's the thing. Like, they're not groundbreaking jerseys. Like, they are just
Mm-hmm.
very simple Team Canada jerseys with a slightly questionable emblem
Mm-hmm.
logo. And then I think the blacks are knock it out of the park, pretty sick jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're even simpler. Oh, those are nice. I'm just looking at other Canada ones. Yeah. Okay. So I give these jerseys a 7.8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I give them. They're better than the old Taves, like the 2014 Olympic ones. My Taves jersey.
Mm-hmm.
That was a kind of a shit jersey. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that grew old
with
super
with
quick.
The line across. The
Yeah.
Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Great year, but
Yeah.
shitty jerseys.
But at
20
the same time, if they rolled out this old classic Hockey Canada,
Yeah.
I'd be bored to tears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't it's a good jersey, don't get me wrong, but like it doesn't feel like a prominent event if you don't mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm probably with you. Like, it's not the worst Canada jersey, but it's
Right.
far from the best.
Sure.
It's kind of middling.
These
No?
ones are pretty sweet. I don't know where these are from, but that feels like classic retro cool kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, I depending on how this goes, I may be buying one.
Mhm.
For sure I might be buying one.
What player?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question.
Makar.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough. I like the jerseys. Like, and with the players, like when the players start wearing these and zipping around, I think they're gonna look really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
Now, what about the USA jerseys?
I haven't looked at any of the other team jerseys. So
The
please,
USA
like,
ones look like dog shit to me.
Really?
They look like they're soccer jerseys. Like they even in the photos, they look like soccer shirts. It looks brutal to me. It's not hockey. This is so not hockey.
Let me look this up.
That's a soccer jersey.
Ooh. Ouch.
That's
I mean,
soccer.
it's very much like those ones from 2014 you didn't like, the Canada ones, right?
Right.
It's kind of the long line across the middle breast, and it just says USA.
Yeah.
I don't like those at all.
With not much else going
plain.
on.
Like that white one is plain as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The white one. Oh man.
Ugh. Not a good look.
It's
This team's
terrible.
immediately not winning. As much as
No.
they're a good team, you're not winning with those jerseys.
No, they're not. They're not even. Well, jersey or no jersey, they wouldn't win anyways.
Oy. I can't back that.
No. That's piss poor at the end of the day. So I think the Team Canada ones win by a landslide there.
Yeah. No, and
Despite
again,
the turkey.
I haven't looked at the other ones. But I can't agree with those. Team Finland, they got like a lion. That's kind of cool.
That's pretty neat.
Germany looks the same as usual.
Fuck, that's pretty good. Yeah, no, and that just kind of brings it all back into perspective. Like, we haven't really been focusing on the whole Olympic aspect, but that is really coming soon, and things are moving. So,
Yeah. Well, we're gonna know the like what by the new year we'll know the rosters. So
well, we better start fucking projecting some rosters here.
yeah.
Like,
As we
holy
start
fuck.
to get, I mean, they got to reveal that list of 54 or whatever soon, right? So
Yeah, when
I
are
guess
they-
once that long list is out,
Then we'll start tinkering.
yeah, for sure.
And we're really only talking about 7 spots that are up for question,
Mm-hmm.
or so, or less.
Agree.
So,
okay, couple more things here. Trevor Zegras, the Michigan Pass.
Unbelievable.
Thoughts on this?
This player,
By the way,
I hate him.
you hate this
I
player.
hate this player.
Like, if you come on here right now and say, I love this guy.
No, I don't. I hate him.
You hated him ever since that interview at the World Juniors before the gold medal game where he was going off how confident he was in his personality. You couldn't fucking stand him.
And I will always stand by that. I'm gonna try to speak objectively.
Mm-hmm.
And what helps me is that he's on the fantasy team. That helps me speak objectively. So I think every so often you get, obviously we all knew his talent level was through the roof in the draft, but everyone was like, is he a Drouin? Is this just flashy talent that won't translate? Every so often you get a guy with that kind of talent, with that little air of arrogance. And when you mix those two together, I think you have the potential for a star to cook. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the talent is being mixed in with the confidence, and it's like Bob's your uncle. It's fireworks. It's amazing. He's doing something every single game that people are like, wow, we've never seen this. And he's selling tickets, man. Like, these kinds of players, they sell tickets. And it's kind of proof that in the draft, like, you should bet on talent at the end of the day. Talent with that mentality. Because he's going to be, like, there's no way Jack Hughes is going to be as good as Trevor Zegras. No.
Talent and, like, upside.
Yeah.
Like, don't just go for the safe pick, the steady defenseman.
Right.
Sometimes you got to go for the balls to the wall. This guy's projected to go 9th in the draft, but if you hit, he can be the best player.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's kind of what he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was never going to go number 1. No one had him number 1 on their list.
No.
But if he hit, it was like, this guy can be special.
Yeah.
And I think he went to the right team, because that's a very boring team for a long time. Ever since those Cups in the late 2000s, you know?
Yep.
Very boring old team.
Yep.
They needed some kind of, like, enthusiasm, youthful exuberance. And he single-handedly has made that organization and that team relevant.
Yeah.
When did you ever get excited to watch a Ducks game?
Never.
But now,
It's never happened.
Now at least you have one factor you can point to.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something special he's going to do.
Even in their heyday, I was like,
No, fuck them.
No.
And I'm Mr. California. I have all the reason to like them. But there's a big reason I like the Kings and the Sharks more, because they always had more pop. Always had more going on.
Sure.
And yet this fucker, he goes to them, and he single-handedly has changed everything.
Yeah.
Playoff team, safely in a position right now. He seems to have good chemistry with that Sonny Milano. Milano.
Such an American connection. Like, I'm just sick to my stomach.
Oh.
You know?
Michigan. What do you think the guys around them are thinking? Like,
I don't know. And you know what? That probably made the two defenders, like, leave him alone a little bit and guard the posts. He's like, all right.
And you saw the laughing on the bench after?
Yes.
Did that piss you off? Would you hate that if you were against them?
See, I'm being warped by fantasy because I'm, like, kind of getting all off to it, you know, at the same time. But no, I would have hated that. Yeah.
Oh my, he's clapping on the bench.
Oh my
laughing.
God. I hate this kid to
after he
fucking
scores,
passion.
He's doing this.
Yeah. It's good for the game, though. It is so good for the game. But it's crazy. But honestly, sky's the limit for this guy. Because he's got vision, passing, unbelievable. His shot is there, too. You know, everything's going. And now Getzlaf is out. This is his time to prove, right? So, unbelievable.
He certainly has made the most of it.
Yeah.
No, good on him, and hopefully he keeps it going. Like, hopefully
he might be a keeper.
Hopefully it's a hopefully it's a bi-weekly thing. On your team, he's definitely a keeper.
Wow. Yeah.
But hopefully it's like a bi-weekly thing where this just keeps happening. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, hope for the best on that front. And lastly, New York Islanders. I believe they lost 11 in a row, and then they beat Ottawa in Ottawa, I think a couple nights ago.
Yeah, I think whoever was goalie had a great game, and he was on my bench.
Yeah. So you've drafted both these goalies,
Yeah.
Varlamov and Sorokin.
Yeah.
You've definitely felt the brunt of it. You're on the outside looking in right now at American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because you're just not getting wins. When 2 of your 3 goalies are the Islanders, and you didn't get a win for 11 straight games, which is what, 3 weeks of not getting a win? The fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, and they were supposed to be my tower of consistency. That
You've always relied on Trotz for that.
Remember I said that? I was like, if there's anything you can bet on, it's good Islanders goalies.
Yeah.
And I was totally wrong. Now Sorokin's been amazing. Not amazing. He's not winning games either, but he's still holding a .920 save percentage. But Varlamov has just been just a dog pile. And the problem is Trotz is consistently sticking to splitting starts for them. So it's always like splitting games 50-50. So they keep trotting out Varlamov every fucking time, and he's shitting the bed. But no, it's nuts, because what I don't know is if Trotz has ever gone through a run like this. Like this guy's always been a winner wherever he's gone, and this to me is just roster issues coming to the forefront. Like it's hard to blame Trotz, it's hard to blame the system, but what we've always said about the Islanders, and what Joe will continue to say all the time, is that on paper there are a ton of holes on this roster. Like, they're not an impressive team on paper, and I think that's finally starting to show a little bit. And coupled with Trotz's coaching style, you have an anemic offense because of the system, and let's be honest, some of the personnel, and then the defense. The personnel just don't match up anymore. You know, you've lost Devon Taves, you've lost a couple other guys. It's tough, but do I think they're going to pull out of it? I do. I think there's going to be some moves made, and I think they're going to tweak things and tighten things down.
Lamoriello's going to get aggressive, eh?
They're going to make the playoffs. That's my hot. They will make the playoffs.
They got games in hand.
Yeah.
Because that COVID scare.
And all the games.
Don't forget about all the games on the road, right?
Yeah. Like, Barzal's starting to pick it up a little bit too. He's been dog shit, but he's starting to pick it up a little bit. But they need help, and I think that Lou's going to make something happen. But I just don't know if they have another deep run in them. I think they'll just squeak in, kind of thing. But yeah, it's tough. But those roster holes are just starting to show. You know?
Yeah. No. Definitely the biggest surprise of the year. You know?
Yeah.
Seemingly a team everyone had penciled in to make the playoffs. 11 in a row. That's like Ottawa bad. You know?
Yeah.
Arizona bad. The island, Barry Trotz should not be losing 11 games in a row. You know, good teams don't do that.
I just realized they have Zdeno Chara on that team. Who's losing all those games.
They're old teams. Slow
they are
team.
old.
A lot of people are yerping. Like they don't have that same. They don't have like the energy to stay in games. They don't have the puck moving defensemen. You know, they lost guys like Nick Leddy. You know, guys they always relied on for that. That fourth line, who we've always loved, Cizikas, Clutterbuck, Martin, they've kind of lost a step apparently. And of course, when Barzal's not going, I mean, how are you gonna get going here?
Yeah, and honestly, I think they're missing Eberle as well. I really think that was an underrated part of the offense.
Big part of their scoring.
You don't really associate Eberle's play style with their play style, but you know what? Every so often he gets you a goal that you didn't expect, and they don't have any of that anymore. Everyone else, other than Barzal and maybe Bailey, is like, I'm an Islanders guy, and I'm going to score Islanders kind of goals. Like, you need to stray from that a little bit. You got Zach Parise here; he's a fourth liner, so he, it's. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Nelson's out. I'm seeing Pollock is out for now, and Cizikas is also out. So that doesn't
big
help.
Those are some big omissions.
That doesn't help.
That's a character fourth line guy. Yeah. That's a top 2 defenseman. And that's wait, is that Nelson you said?
Nelson. That's
he's a top 6 forward. So those are some big losses. Hopefully they're not out too long.
But I'm not extremely worried about this team, as weird as that sounds.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. I think they're going to tighten it down, and things will look up. But they're also probably pretty tired. They've gone on long runs, like the Stanley Cup hangover kind of thing. I think that's affecting things as well, and they just need a bit of time to come out of it.
Yeah, lots of home games on the horizon, and like I said, still about, plenty of games to be played here, right?
Yeah.
50 games. Plenty of time.
Oh, tons. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that said, we're going to tidy things up here. Anything left to be said that we missed?
No, I think we got it all. Just, everyone's beaten the Brady Tkachuk got bitten thing to death, so I don't think we've got anything to add there.
No, I mean we've talked. I mean a long time. The character of Brendan Lemieux. I mean that's a. I'm with Tkachuk on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to high school with Brendan Lemieux.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh my God.
I didn't know him very well.
Not a good guy.
That's what I heard. Questionable character. Questionable guy. I mean, albeit this is grade 9, 10, but apparently very questionable guy. And Tkachuk seems like a credible guy, like high character individual.
Yeah.
So yeah. I when he all that shit he said, I kind of got it. I kind of got it at the time.
Yeah.
And I've been wrong. Like Lemieux, like when he was at the Rangers, like there were some moments I was really liking that player. And when he got traded to LA, I was like, this is good.
Right.
I love his compete on the ice. I love his shot blocking ability, the tenacious fighting aspect of his game. But, yeah, character is a question mark, and I think you saw that right here.
Yeah, and just for the record, Brady Tkachuk's been on a bit of a heater ever since he got bit. People were saying that it might have been like a Spider-Man situation where he got bit and turned into some sort of superhero.
Yeah.
But, no, the worst part of this whole thing is how Quick came to defend Brendan Lemieux's character, and he just looked like a fucking clown doing so. Jonathan Quick is a schmo. But that's about it for topics.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Season 4, Episode 5. That's a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed. Plenty of good stuff coming up. We're
World Junior preview coming up.
World Junior preview coming right up. I mean, when's the camp starting?
Shortly,
right?
Should
Under
be
2 weeks? A week, maybe?
No, like very soon.
In a week,
yeah. A week or less.
Good. So we'll have plenty of news. I mean, if like I said, if the camp were here, I'm sure you'd be going.
Yeah.
We'll have all the coverage, all the cuts, all the drama that comes with that. I'm sure it'll be lots of good stuff to tune into. So, World Junior, it's arguably the best time of the year. And then now we have the World Juniors, which will be followed by the Olympics. If the players go, which again, I know it's a discussion again.
You settle down.
That's why I think the World Juniors will be a nice escape.
You know why? Here's where I'm not worried. They just released the jerseys. People start buying these jerseys. They're not taking them back.
Okay.
They're not coming back.
Okay.
Otherwise, you got a big problem.
Okay. Fair. Yeah. That's your theory.
Yeah.
That's your grand theory.
Yep. As soon as you sell a McDavid Canada jersey, they're going.
They're going.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to think you're right, but we'll have the World Juniors as a nice distraction.
Yeah.
And as always, it's like the best time of the year to be a hockey fan. So it should be another special year. Canada's looking like another gold medal contender. And, should be a good tournament. So preview coming next episode and plenty of more fun stuff. So until then, thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to serve you here again. And until next time, Rink Moose is signing off.